Welcome back to game number 2 here at the MSI Saturday Showdown replay set that I am casting here for you. It is game number 2, as I said, the scoreline. Actually, this is probably for the first time in making VODs for a while. I get to actually use the scoreline thing down at the bottom left-hand side of the player board, as you can see there. That's kind of cool. That's one thing in the Game HUD interface that people don't use sometimes. It surprises me. But anyway, it is a best of 3, and the scoreline does have our green Protoss down in the bottom right-hand side in the lead. Of course, from Team Flash, it is Blysk. And he is in the lead. He went for, well, it looked to be like he was going to go for a DT tech in the previous game, but it did get scouted out really weirdly. I'm not sure if it was intentional, like he was going for the cancel and intended for that to happen, some kind of tasteless level cancel strats, but he did switch over, went to Blink, had to deal with some problems inside his main base because his opponent up to the top left-hand side here on Frost, Arthur, got a pylon inside and was able to warp in some Stalkers. But of course, once you have Blink on your Stalkers and your opponent doesn't, then you are in a little bit of trouble, because it does mean that you are going to be not trading as efficiently as your opponent will be, because as soon as Blysk had his Blink, he was able to just sort of jump around and easily use his Stalkers to defend his main base. Then we of course had DTs coming up from Arthur, almost saved the day, but Blysk was able to get a Robo facility up and was looking pretty good from that point, and was able to convince Arthur to tap out. So game number 1 did go the way of Blysk here. We are going to get double gas coming up from both players here. Not going to be doing anything too cheeky. It is quite often now in PvP that you do get players who just happily get their double gases up and running. They'll normally put in normally 2 inside each of the guys here. We are going to get 2 in one of them over here. We're going to get, yeah, there's the second one. Alright, so in fact it goes up to 3. So we're going to have 3 and 3 for Arthur. We'll see which particular tech round he's going to go. As we did see in the previous game, Blink is a very common kind of thing to get out. The Dark Shrine is also gaining quite a lot of popularity. Now, one thing that I didn't actually really get to talk too much about, but it has started to gain quite a lot of traction in this particular matchup, is something that both players were sort of doing in the previous game, which was, it's kind of like making a pseudo wall inside your main base. Like, what you'll get sometimes is players will just leave a tiny little portion of accessibility. Like, say for example, you have a small path that goes in here to get to the mineral line, and like what you see a lot of the time is players will use that to protect themselves from the Dark Templar as they try to come inside and try and get in the mineral line. You just block them off, and it's actually really cute stuff that has kind of evolved in the PvP spectrum. It has, you know, people have been trying to use it for a little while, but it's only as of late, especially in the WCS matches, that that I actually got to see it quite a lot. Of course, WCS Global Finals at BlizzCon just happening a couple of weeks ago, some really awesome matchups there that we got to see, and of course big congrats to SOS for finishing it off. Now, we do have a bit of a difference in the styles here. We are going to get Arthur being the one who is going to go for a 1 gate into the Twilight and grabbing his Blink. We'll probably see 2 gates go down just to augment his production. We get the 1 and then a second one as well. That's actually kind of what I was talking about, just actually leaving a little bit of a hole here, so that if Blysk was to go for DTs, if you went for a proxy or something, normally what you'll see at this point is another building will go down here, and then the DTs have to go like either, you know, all the way around here and then run inside, or they have to go up through the back and then through the mineral line to actually get in there and get some damage done. But we won't see anything of the sort happening here for Blysk. He has finished up his Robo and will be getting out in the Immortal very quickly. This kind of expansion strategy is very tricky to do, but you can, as long as you're very careful and you're good with your scouting, you can catch any kinds of aggressiveness that your opponent is up to, and you can defend against it adequately. The one problem Blysk is going to have is that he'll need to defend multiple locations here. Of course, on Frost, we have many ways that your opponent can get inside the main base through blinking up on the top here, which is what we may see here from Arthur. And now he's going to poke across. He's just testing the waters, wants to see what kind of units are here. He will know that the Immortal is out. There will probably be another Immortal coming out very soon. But Blysk, he's got a little bit of defense for the moment, but he needs to be very careful. A couple of the stalkers inside the main base are here for a little bit of defense, but will they be enough? Because Arthur is now starting to pick up a very large count of stalkers. He's up to 5. We'll have a couple more popping out very, very soon, and we'll see how he goes with this. He is going to bring across the sentry, and now this is interesting. I kind of want to see what he's going to do with this, because we will see some stalkers are going to blink inside. Are they going to blink? Yes, they will. Alright, so they're going to blink in. They are going to take one of the pylons that's here. The Immortal will come across and try and help out with the defense, forcing out a... wow, the Photon Overcharge is forced out here. I'm a little bit surprised that Blysk went for that so quickly. He was perhaps in a little bit of a better position. But Sentry will come across. Oh, wow. Arthur, with the block off strat, is easily going to be able to take out the natural base here. We can see just the strategy used there was really, really cool. He's forced out the Photon Overcharge. I was a little bit concerned about that one from Blysk, but he has now lost his natural. After all of that, he did lose a couple of workers as well, and that means that he has now lost that position. He's going to be in a lot of trouble here. He was going to go for a Twilight Council, but I don't think that was ever going to actually happen. And Blysk trying to defend the main base, but he's actually caught in a very trapped position here. The Immortal is actually trapped in. The Photon Overcharge activated again on the Nexus, but it is all done. Arthur is going to take game 2 here, despite the overcharge and despite almost getting a couple of Immortals out. Blysk, I think, kind of overreacted to the blink inside the main base, but I mean, you know, as we were saying before, it can be very tricky to defend against an opponent who is going to go for an aggressive kind of timing here. So Blysk is going to lose game number 2 here, I believe. Well, I can't figure out a way he's going to get out of this one, because the Robo is about to finish up in the wall. What's it going to do? There's too many stalkers. Zealots are chipping away, but the Immortal will pop out. It's going to blast away at a couple of the stalkers here, taking a few of them out. And Arthur, well, he will eventually get rid of the Immortal, and that will be it for game number 2. So we are going to go to game number 3 very shortly. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel so you can catch all the latest stuff that I've been uploading, and I'll see you in game number 3. Here, as you can see, 47 damage to bio units, and then the 34 damage against other standard targets. His storms have also been wonderful, just spreading them out across the battlefield, doing really, really nicely there. And for minigun, he's been sticking with a much more